Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. 我是 Red. First of all, Happy Chinese New Year! 恭喜发财! If you're learning Chinese, have you ever noticed that native speakers often sound a bit vague? You ask someone when they are arriving, and they say 大概3点. You ask how many people are coming to dinner, and they say 10个左右. If you translate these words literally in your head, you might get frustrated. You might think, why can't they just tell me the exact time? Do they mean 3 p.m. or not? Well, here is the truth. Using vague language isn't always a sign of being unsure. It's a feature of the Chinese language, not a bug. Using words like 大概, 可能, and 左右 correctly is what makes you sound fluent, natural, and less like a textbook. In today's deep dive, we're not just going to look at dictionary definitions. We're going to break down the psychology behind these words, the grammar rules you must follow, and the native speaker scenarios where you need to use them. Before we dive into the lesson, if you find these deep dives helpful and want to support the creation of more content like this, you can now buy me a coffee on Ko-fi. The link is in the description. It's a small way to keep this channel going. Alright, let's get into the good stuff. First up, we have 大概. This translates to approximately or probably, but the key to mastering it lies in understanding its position in the sentence and what it modifies. First, the structure. Where does 大概 go? Unlike English, where probably can move around, 大概 has a very strict rule. It must be placed before the verb or the time phrase. It sets a tone for the action or the time. Second, the common collocations, 是 and 会. 大概 loves to hold hands with two specific helper verbs, 是, which means to be, and 会, which indicates a future action or possibility. Let's break down these two patterns because they sound very different to a native speaker's ear. Pattern 1. 大概 plus 是 focus on identity or situation. When you pair 大概 with 是, you're making an estimate about the current state or identity of something. For example, if someone knocks on the door and you guess without picking, you will say 大概是快递. 大概是快递 is probably the delivery guy. Please note here, we aren't guessing the time, we are guessing the identity of the person. Pattern B. 大概 plus 会 focus on future action. When you pair 大概 with 会, you are making an estimate about a future action or event. For example, you are looking at the weather forecast. You will say, 明天大概会下雨. 明天大概会下雨. It will probably rain tomorrow. Note, this emphasizes the future action, raining. You could also say 明天大概有雨, but using 会 is very common for future predictions. Third, scenario application. Now that we have the grammar down, let's see it in action. Scenario A. Time. 大概 plus time phrase. If a friend asks when you will be free and you are still working, 我大概6点下班. 我大概6点下班. I will probably get off work around 6. Scenario B. Quantity. 大概 plus verb plus number. If you see a crowd but didn't count them, 今天大概来了100个人. 今天大概来了100个人. About 100 people come today. Native speaker tip. Notice that 大概 implies you have a reason to make this guess. It's an estimate based on observation, not a wild guess. In scenario B, you saw the crowd, so you estimated. Next, let's look at 可能. While 大概 is about quantity and time estimates, 可能 is about probability. It means maybe or possibly. This is a critical distinction. If you use 大概 when you mean 可能, it can sound like you are estimating something that shouldn't be estimated. The structure is, it also goes before the verb. The degree trick. In English, we say very possible. In Chinese, you can modify 可能 with 很 to emphasize the likelihood. Here's a scenario. Scenario A. Uncertainty. The half-half. If someone asks if it's going to rain and the forecast is unclear, 明天可能会下雨. It might rain tomorrow. Scenario B. High probability. The strong guess. If the sky is dark and you see lightning, 明天很可能会下雨. It's very likely to rain tomorrow. Now let's compare 大概 and 可能. 他大概30岁. He looks like he's around 30. You're estimating his age based on his appearance. 他可能是30岁. He might be 30. This sounds weird in this context unless you are guessing his age from a list. You wouldn't use 可能 for visual estimates. Finally, we have 左右. This is a fascinating word. It literally means left and right. When used as a fuzzy expression, it means more or less or around, but it specifically creates a range or a boundary. This is the biggest mistake I see students make. Mixing up 大概 and 左右. Remember, 大概 goes before the number. 左右 goes after. The structure is number plus measure word plus 左右. Here's a scenario A. Time, the range. 我3点左右到. I will arrive around 3 o'clock. This implies anywhere from 5 to 3 to 5 past 3. Scenario B. Age or aspect, the boundary. Academic research shows that 左右 is most commonly used with time, while other words like 上下 are used for age, but 左右 is taking over in casual speech for age as well. 他身高1.8米左右. He's about 1.8 meters tall. Here's an advanced tip for you. Native speakers often combine this for extra vagueness. You can put 大概 in the front and 左右 at the end. It's perfectly grammatical and very natural, like 我大概3点左右到. 我大概3点左右到. I will probably arrive sometime around 3ish. Let's quickly recap so you have a cheat sheet. Now let's test your ear. Imagine you are making plans. The student version. 你什么时候来? When are you coming? 我可能在6点来. I might come at 6. The native version. 你什么时候来? 我大概6点左右到，但可能会晚一点。我大概6点左右到，但可能会晚一点。I will probably get there around 6, but I might be a little late. See what we did there. We used 大概 to set the expectation, 左右 to give a time range, and 可能 to leave room for error. Mastering these fuzzy expressions is the secret sauce to sounding less like a textbook and more like a human. They give you wiggle room in conversation, which is culturally very important in Chinese to avoid absolute statements and maintain harmony. Okay, if you enjoyed this breakdown, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more Chinese learning strategies. I'll see you in the next video. 再见。